We're working today on, every lit class is working on neutral pelvis, but our focus is on the neutral pelvis and how when we consciously rotate or move our pelvis, we can leverage it in our movement. But what we want to emphasize is that we know that we're choosing to do that. Kind of moving out of neutral with the pelvis becomes a problem when you don't realize you're doing it, and then it impacts your back and your hips and all the other ways, down the chain. So we're going to start with our low bridge. I'll cue you if you're going to use the playlist when to start it. We'll just take the first couple moments in silence here. So coming onto your back, plant those feet on the floor. And just, you can do this in a couple of ways, but I want you to start feeling like the rib cage is moving away from the pelvis. So almost like you were a slinky being pulled, stretched a little bit. You can either press your hands into the thighs and let that help you. Be conscious of the front of the ribs trying to pop up and really use those upper abdominals to web them together. The alternative, you can use your hands kind of on the side of the rib cage and almost try to use the hands to pull up. It's a little bit hard as we're laying down to get some good sensation out of the use of the hands on the ribs, but if it works for you, you do that. So just getting a sense of strength in the core as we kind of pull ourselves long. And then let that go. We'll press our feet into the floor, lengthen the tailbone, and lift into your low bridge here. You can stay here for your low bridge today. The alternative is to plant into the left foot. We're going to lift the right knee, so if you need to adjust the placement of the left foot, go for it. And we'll keep the right knee bent, lifting it over the hip. If you need to bring the hands to either side of the pelvis to keep things in order here and neutral, that's fine. And then we'll exhale and externally rotate the right hip. So that right foot is going to come over to the left a bit. Bring it back to neutral one more time like that. Just move that thigh bone in the hip, external rotation. You're feeling this in the left glute. Back to neutral last time. External rotation. That right foot is coming across a little bit. Return the foot to neutral, lower the right foot if you picked it up, and we'll head to the other side. So just pause for a second. Bring your brain into that right glute, and you'll lift, if you'd like, the left knee over the hip. Of course, if you don't feel like taking this variation, your prerogative. Once you're there, we'll externally rotate thigh in the hip socket. Left foot's coming over across the middle a little bit. And back to neutral, we'll do two more. So we externally rotate. Really try to put your brain in that connection between thigh bone and hip. Back to neutral last time, external rotation. Back to neutral, lower that foot. You're welcome to lower if you'd like, or you can stay up while we stretch out the wrists. Press those palms up. Pull back on the fingers, getting those glutes awake. Opening up the forearm. And then we'll switch sides. Left palm pressing up, or if you did opposite hands, that's fine, just switch hands. Ooh, I'm getting a breeze through my window. I feel alive, you guys. I hope you feel the same. We're in it together. Exhale. Let's take a few circles with the wrists. And then slowly, keeping that sensation of the ribs pulling away from the pelvis, we'll lower through the vertebrae, lowering that spine until finally the pelvis lands on the floor there. We'll do our core work with the legs extended up today. You're welcome to put the feet down. Interlace those fingers behind the head and the elbows point up. Inhale here. Exhale, peel the head and shoulder blades off the mat as you let all that air out. And then inhale, lower. We'll do one more plane like that. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Now we're kind of consolidating the ribs towards the pelvis. Inhale, lower, and starting our optional add-ons. Only take what works for you. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. We'll reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, trying to keep parallel between arm and leg. And then exhale, pull down, the left elbow is gonna press into the floor, and you'll make a fist with the left hand. As you do this, you feel the shoulder blade kind of come onto the back there. Hand returns behind the head, inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. This time the right arm reaches up, feel that shoulder blade move on the back. And then pull the right elbow towards the floor, pressing into the floor, and you'll feel as you press that shoulder adjust, opening the chest. Hand returns, inhale, lower. We've got one more variation. Woo! Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Left arm reaches up here, let the shoulder blade move, and then pull the left elbow to the floor, pressing into the floor. Option here to twist to the left, staying off the left shoulder blade. Woof, it gets you in there. Back to center, inhale, lower. One last time, we'll be nice and warm. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Right arm reaches up this time, let that shoulder blade move, and then pull the elbow down, pressing into the floor. And then you can twist towards the elbow, keeping the pressure. Oh, it's way harder on this side for me. Back to center, hand returns. Inhale, lower. Oh, just take a second doing any shape you need to do to recover from that intensity. Maybe exhale, let the tension out. And then we will come around towards our quadruped. At this point, you can start the playlist if you'd like. I'm just gonna lock our room. That really got me, that core warm up. Let me just get my playlist going too. All right. So you're coming into your quadruped, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We can now use that strength, especially in our upper abdominals, to support us here. We'll reach the left leg back. As you do that, kind of squeeze the right sits bone and the right glute area to keep that half of the pelvis stable. Not squeeze with your hands, turn it on, squeeze the muscle. You can lift the left leg and then bend that left knee. Maybe press the foot up to the ceiling an inch, not moving the pelvis, just using the glute. And then reach the left leg long, keeping the toes facing down, abduct the left leg, so move it out to the left and back to neutral. We'll do two more, just like that. Left leg goes out to the left, hold on to that right half of your pelvis, back to neutral. Last time here, left leg out to the left, we'll come back to neutral, press into the right shin and open the pelvis up. So let the whole pelvis open to the left side of the mat, almost like modified side plank or half moon, and then come back to neutral. So left leg will go out to the left, back to neutral, and then open the pelvis to the left. So the left half of the pelvis peels up towards the ceiling, back to neutral. One more time, feeling this in the right glute. Back to neutral, we open that pelvis. Good, and then left shin lowers to the floor. That right leg can reach back. Take a moment to check in with the left glute. You're gonna still use it here to prevent the hip from swinging out to the left. And then lift the right leg, bend the knee, and you can press that foot up to the ceiling, just using the glute there to extend the hip a bit. Extend the right leg long. Here we go, abduction first. Right leg goes out to the right, back to neutral. Right leg goes right, hold on to that glute. Back to neutral. One more, right leg goes right. This time, come back, we'll open the pelvis to the right. So right half of the pelvis peels up, sort of half moon legs. It's a little asymmetrical. And then back to neutral. Right leg goes right. Back to center, open that pelvis. Back to neutral, one more time, right leg goes right, open it up. And then come back to neutral, lower the right knee. Let's sit back in a child's pose for a second. We will do a dolphin, but just give a little stretch to the glutes here. That was a lot. When you're ready, we'll shift forward. If you don't like dolphin, take a down dog. That's a great substitution. Otherwise, you can lower the forearms, optionally interlace those hands here. Tuck your toes and lift into your down dog. I'm sorry, you know what I meant. Down dog or dolphin. It's starting early today, my mess ups. We'll lift the left leg up, hip height here. Bend that knee, this time internally rotate at the hip. So that foot is gonna swing out to the left a little bit as the knee comes in. Back to neutral, one more time, internal rotation. Back to neutral, lower those toes, we'll switch to the other side. Right leg lifts, bend the knee and internally rotate. Back to neutral, one more time, internal rotation. Back to neutral, lower the foot, and we'll shift the weight forward. You can move through the knees to make that happen or press into the hands. Walking your way forward, lengthen the spine in a bent knee forward fold. And then we'll inhale, rise to stand for our sun cell one. Reach those arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Sorry about the wind. Nice long spine. Plant those hands, right foot steps back. Lower the knee, untuck the toes. Inhale, arms lift. And without using the hands, get that sense of rib cage lifting out of the pelvis like a slinky. Hands plant forward, head to down dog or plank. From your plank, we'll lower the knees. Exhale, lower to the floor. Keep the shoulder blades pinned on the back. Open chest. Inhale, cobra here, chest pulls forward. Exhale, we'll all meet in down dog. Walk those feet in a touch. Heading to half kneel on the right side. Step the right foot forward. Left knee lowers, untuck the toes. Inhale, lift. And then don't just reach through the arms, really reach through the rib cage, reaching pelvis and ribs away from each other. Hands plant forward, exhale, step the back foot in. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Right half kneel, left foot steps back, lower that knee, untuck the toes. Inhale, arms lift. We'll take the right hand behind, reach the left arm up more, and side bend to the right. Keep pulling the ribs out of the pelvis, even as you side bend. Come back to vertical, plant those hands forward, head to down dog or plank. From plank, you'll lower the knees, exhale, lower to the floor with that open chest. Inhale, cobra, and exhale, we'll meet in that down dog. Left foot comes forward this time, half kneel, right knee lowers, untuck the toes. Inhale, arms lift. And the left hand comes behind, right arm reaches up here, side bend to the left. Picking those ribs up out of the pelvis. Inhale, back to vertical. Plant those hands forward, exhale, step the right foot in. Nice length in the spine there, and we'll inhale, rise to stand. First sequence, hinge at those hips, plant the hands, right foot steps back, and we lower the knee, untuck the toes for a low lunge or half kneel. Inhale, arms lift. We'll bring the hands to either side of the pelvis like we tried in bridge. Tuck the back toes. And as you extend the back knee, we'll shift the weight to the diagonal here for a tilted crescent. Option to extend the right arm alongside the ear, reaching it forward. Very carefully return to your half kneel. Right hand returns, lower that right knee. Arms extend up, inhale. Exhale, hands to the pelvis. We'll shift the weight forward. Lifting on this diagonal towards a tilted crescent, and really feel that the two halves of the pelvis are even here, not opening in any way or closing off. Really nice and neutral. Lower that right knee, inhale, arms lift. And last time, hands to the pelvis, helping you navigate this transition. You can bring the left hand to the front of the ribs and the right arm reaches alongside the ear. From here, we'll turn to the right for side lunges. Toes facing the side of the mat. We bend the right knee and hip and the left. Adjust the height of your torso as needed there. Hands don't have to be on the floor. Or they could be if that feels okay. Taking this in your pace, just opening the inner thighs and feeling a neutral pelvis here. So we don't want to spill our front towards the floor, but we want to maintain the length in the low back. Next time you bend right, we'll pause, plant the left hand and peel open for a twist. Left hand does not have to be on the floor, could be on a block, or you could totally skip anchoring the hand. From here, you've got two options. If it feels okay with the hands on the floor, you'll bring the right hand under the shoulder, shift into that right foot, and we'll abduct the left leg up and down. If that feels like trash, you can rise to stand. We'll lengthen the right leg, and we just pulse in our abduction here in a lifted position. This is like a half jack. So you can pick which one works for you. Having the hands down puts a little extra demand on the hip range of motion and the back of the leg. One more pulse, we'll cross the left knee behind, almost like you were coming to a seated twist at the back of the mat, and then unwind to the opposite side of the mat, planting your feet as you would for a low bridge. Weight into the hands and we'll lift the pelvis for table and lower. So using our glutes here to lift and lower, getting some opening in those front hip regions. We've just been working them a bit. Lifting and lowering here. Two more. And then turn to the back of the mat. You'll plant the right leg. So maybe step it across the left. Shift your weight towards a standing L. Reaching left leg back and planting into the right foot, and your hands can come to the mat. If that's too much and it hurts the right leg, you can lower the left toes and come back to a tilted crescent position, or even a pyramid is a good alternative. In any of those variations, get a sense of opening in the chest. We don't want to be pushing towards a curved spine or a rounded back, but just finding a position that allows us to keep things long and strong. If you want a little extra, you can point the left toes and using that left glute, just lift and lower the leg an inch. Hold on to that low belly here. Couple more, and then lower the left toes. Rise towards a crescent lunge, bending that left knee as you lift. Inhale, arms extend. Right hand comes behind the pelvis, reach the left arm up, and side bend to the left, just as we did in our low lunge. Lifting the ribs out of the pelvis here, keeping our pelvis neutral, not letting one side move around on us. Rise to vertical, turn to the front of the mat, so turn to the left. Plant your hands and head to a plank. Other option is to lower the knees. Third option is you can walk the right leg to the right, step it back in, and the left leg to the left. So a little bit of abduction here, if you so choose. Stepping side to side. If you're taking this, we'll do one more each way. And then we'll all lower those knees lower to the floor. Inhale, pull the chest forward, pull the palms back on the mat, and then try to lift the belly away from the floor. And that's going to help support the back in your cobra. Exhale, release Press into those hands, we'll lift to our down dog. Walk the feet in a little bit. Big inhale, lift on the toes. Exhale through the mouth, bend the knees, and walk or hop the feet forward. Rise to stand here, inhale, arms extend. Exhale, hinge at the hips, heading to the other side. Hands plant, left foot steps back, lower that knee, and untuck the toes to start. Inhale, we'll lift up, find our length here first. And then exhale, hands come to the pelvis. There are monitors here. They're keeping control or keeping us clear about what's happening. We'll tuck the left toes and shift the weight up as we extend that back leg on the diagonal. Tilted crescent here. You can reach left arm over the ear. And then left hand comes back to the pelvis, lower the left knee, untuck those toes. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands to the pelvis, tuck the back toes, shift your tilted crescent. Side note, if that hurts your knee, you can always put a blanket underneath. I should have said that earlier. Reach the left arm alongside the ear here. Nice long reach. And then the hand returns, lower the left knee, untuck those toes. One more time, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands to either side of the pelvis, back toes tuck, and you shift your tilted crescent. This time, right hand to the front of the rib cage, little reminder there, and the left arm reaching long. Right glute is feeling charged in this moment. And then turn to your left for side lunges. Toes face the side of the mat, and we bend into one knee and hip and then the other. Now, if you're noticing the knees are going far forward over the toes, that's actually usually an indicator that your pelvis is tipping in this position. So really be sure that you're not trying to force the hands to the floor, but that you're in the same orientation as you would be in a low bridge where you've got this nice stacked position up the back. And you only take it down more if you can hold that as you move forward. Next time you bend left, if you'd like, we'll add a twist. Right hand comes under and we lift the left arm up. Remember that right hand can be on the block or lifted off the floor. And then we'll play with our abduction, the two options. Left hand plants under the shoulder, option one. And we weight into this bent left leg, lifting and lowering the right. So it's kind of like chair leg on the left leg or a standing L, and then the abduction on the right. The alternative here is to rise to vertical and pulse the right leg in abduction there. So you pick. I'll show this next transition from vertical. Couple more pulses, packs a punch. Heading through a seated twist, we'll cross the right leg behind the left, right fingers to the floor if you're from standing, and unwind to the opposite side of the mat, feet plant. Table lifts here. Use those glutes, lift the pelvis, extending the front of the hips. And of course, as you do this, we're keeping that length in the low back. Not letting anything get crunchy. One more here. We'll lower, let the knees fall towards the back of the mat, cross the left foot over the right leg, and shift towards your standing L. If you need to adjust your space, go for it. Alternative to standing L, you could be in a left bent knee pyramid. You also could find a left tilted crescent position. So manage this to fit you, right? We own the pose doesn't own us. Extend the right foot if you'd like to a bit of a point, and then if the leg is lifted, you can add a couple pulses, activating that right glute even more. And I have to say my left glute always really ramps up when I do this too. So if you're noticing that, me too. If you're pulsing, let it go. We'll all lower the left toes, rise to your crescent, bending the left knee as you go to find that neutral pelvis. Inhale, arms extend. And then left hand comes behind. Reach the right arm up and we side bend to the right, lifting the rib cage out of the pelvis. Feels like a break after all that. Moving through vertical here, inhale, turn to your right to face the front of the mat. Plant your hands, you can head to a plank. If you'd like, you can also head straight to your belly. Option 1 to lower those knees. Option 2, left leg steps left and in, and right leg steps right and in. So it's like small abduction here. Don't let that pelvis be moving up and down as you go, but really try to use the glutes. Wrap them towards the heels. And then we'll pause in the middle, lower your knees, lower to the floor. Anchor your pubic bone here. Inhale, pull that chest forward, shoulder blades slightly towards the spine, and then pick up the belly. Exhale, release. We'll press into the hands, lift into your down dog. Walk the feet in a little bit here, big inhale. As you exhale, release the back of the neck, so let the base of the skull broaden. We'll bend the knees and walk the feet forward. Taking some sun sal A's here, inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, plant those hands. Step to down dog or plank. If you're in plank, you can lower to the floor, either through the knees or straight down. Inhale, cobra, and exhale, down dog. Everybody walk your feet in a couple inches. Inhale, rise on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees and walk or hop forward. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hinge at the hips. One more time, plant those hands. Step back to plank or down dog. If you're in plank, you'll lower to the floor, either through the knees or straight down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. We'll walk the feet in a couple inches. Inhale, rise on the toes. Feel those legs almost pulling up into the pelvis. Exhale, bend the knees and walk or hop forward. Inhale, rise to stand. Last time, exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. Step back for down dog or plank. Lower to the floor or lower halfway. Inhale, cobra or pull through for up dog. Exhale, down dog. Walk the feet in a touch, we'll pause here. Release the back of the head, so lengthen the neck there. Big inhale. Open the mouth, exhale. Shake the head out a little, let it go. We'll lift the left leg here, three-legged down dog. And then step the left foot as far forward as you can without picking up the feet, maybe slightly behind the left wrist or in line with it. You'll step the right foot in line with the right arm, and then step the left foot back, down dog, and the right foot back, down dog. So it's a little bit of a wide squat we're headed to. We'll step right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot back, left foot back. Left and right, and step it back. And you can just keep doing this in your own time. And our goal is to check in with the pelvis. So if we're having to move the pelvis around to make these steps happen, you're probably stepping too far forward on the mat, and just step it back a little bit. What we want is to isolate this action to the hips. I know those arms are feeling it. Just one more round. We'll step right foot forward, left foot forward. Pause there, press into the feet, and sweet relief, rise to a chair. Reach those arms up. Let's shake them out. That was a long time on arms. And those arms can come to palms together in prayer, or you can extend the arms long here. Little bit of a series here. Press into the left foot, extend up, and right leg abducts, going out to the right. Cross it behind the left leg, sit the hips back for curtsy. And then step the right leg wide, left leg reaches out to the side, cross it behind for curtsy. So we'll step and half jack, right leg out, cross it behind curtsy, step the right leg as the left leg comes out, cross behind for your curtsy. So alternating sides here. You can make it as fast as you'd like. It can start to feel kind of dancey even. If you're listening to the music, we're on a good song for it. This last time, right leg will come out to the right. You'll cross it behind for your curtsy. Right hand's gonna come to the top of the left thigh, and that left hand comes to the side of the pelvis. Lift the right leg back for a bent knee airplane. You've got the support of the hands here, so really try to lengthen the spine. We're gonna switch the hands, and what I mean by that is right hand comes to the side of the pelvis, left palm just presses the inner left thigh. Press into the left foot, open up the pelvis, just as we did in quadruped. Right half of the pelvis opens towards the ceiling. It's a lot on that glute, and then close it back to neutral. We'll only do a couple because it's quite intense. 2 more, open it up. And close it. You can really use the left palm as a helpful anchor on that left leg. Open it up. And then lower the right foot, warrior 2, bending into this left leg. Kind of distribute the strength here between the two. Inhale, arms extend. Exhale, reverse, side bending towards the back leg. Inhale, and warrior variation. That left forearm comes to the thigh. Inhale and reverse, starting to make this a bit more wave-like. Through center, warrior variation. You're about to get a moment of great relief. Windmill to the back of the mat. We're heading to lizard. So you'll bend the right knee, lower the left knee. 3 options. You can extend the torso up, squeezing that left glute to open the front of the hip. You could add a twist, planting the left hand to the floor, opening towards the right. Final option, you can reach with the right hand to grab the left foot, and then really use that left glute to keep opening the front of the left hip. So we don't want to sag into that hip joint here. We don't want to be passive. It wants to be a strong stretch, like we're really increasing our range of motion. Breathe it out. And then we'll release those toes to the floor. We're going to shift to a runner stretch, sitting the hips back a bit, flexing the right foot. Both knees are bent here. Same principle as our standing L, nice long spine. And we'll just hold it for a second. Release the breath. And then shift the weight forward, hands plant, right leg lifts up and back, 3-legged down dog. We're starting with these stepping forward actions. Right foot steps forward, left foot forward, right back and left back. And then the left foot starts. And then the next time, the right foot. So like I said last time, major goal, nice long spine, and keeping the hands on the floor. And that's going to locate this right into the core. It's not about how far forward you get. Feels easier on the arms this time. We didn't just do sunset lay. One more round, and the next time you step forward, pause with those feet forward. We'll rise towards our chair. Sending the torso on the diagonal. Option to reach the arms up or take them to your prayer. Feel the front of the ribs kind of pull towards your spine, not letting them fall towards the knees. And then press into the right foot, left leg extends, abduction, cross it behind for your curtsy, and left leg steps wide. right leg lifts, cross it behind. So half jack to curtsy combo. Take this in your time. We also have hit a great pace for this here if you're using the music. And next time you step on the right foot, the left leg lifts, cross it behind for curtsy. We'll hold there. Right hand comes to the right half of the pelvis, left hand to the left thigh, and reach the left leg back. We're in a bent knee airplane. We're heading towards our half moon opening action here. That left hand can come to the left side of the pelvis, right hand to the inner thigh, inner knee region. Ooh, this is intense. Open up the pelvis, left half coming to the left, half moon legs. Rotate that pelvis back to neutral. Hold on to those deep abdominals here. Open it up. Almost like a space hold with that left leg. Rotate it back to neutral. Last time, feeling that burn. Open it up. And lower the left foot, warrior two. Oh, spread that workout between the two legs. Inhale. Exhale, reverse, side bending towards the left. Inhale through center and exhale, warrior variation, forearm to thigh. In yoga, they call that heat. Inhale and reverse. Tapas, it's one of the yamas and niyamas. And it's something that we can kind of cultivate to transform. Warrior variation. I would say so. It feels that way now. Rise through center, turn to the front of the mat for our lizard variation. Lowering that right knee to the floor. Option to stay lifted here with the torso. Really use the glute as your hip opener. Option to add your twist. You can put a block under the hand. And final option is to grab the back foot. Opening up in the twist here. Exhale, let some air out. And continuing to try to squeeze the right glute to open up the front of the hip. Release the right foot, we'll tuck those toes, shifting to a runner stretch. You can come up on the fingertips, knees stay bent and the pelvis shifts back. You can always put blocks under the hands here. I think that's a very helpful way to get a little bit more room for the back of the leg. We'll shift the weight forward, plant your hands, step the left foot back, and then lower the knees for a quadruped, taking them wide. Sitting the hips back if that feels okay. Reach the arms long. Big inhale here. As you inhale, feel the rib cage once again pull away from the pelvis. Getting some extension in that, the middle bits, if you will. Exhale, release. If you'd like, you can walk the hands over to the left. Continue to anchor the right half of the pelvis, keeping it where it is. You'll get a little additional side stretch. To enhance that a little more, you can come up on the right fingers. Well, there's something in my throat, sorry. And then you can walk the hands over to the right if that feels okay. Maybe coming up on the left fingers. Ooh, you might get some nice soft opening in the back there. Releasing. And then you can walk the hands back to the middle. We'll shift the weight forward and we're gonna come to our stream moment. So as you're ready, you can walk your way up to standing. As we rise to stand, let's just like take a shake for a second. We don't do things like this enough. I can't see you, so like have it out. I used to do this a lot in my experimental dance world, and I always found it so invigorating. So let yourself do it, be silly looking, and then let that die down for our stream. Planting those feet solidly underneath you. Feel the internal heat and how we've kind of found the nuance of our pelvis being neutral. We'll move with that more this time. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, plant those hands. Right foot steps back for your half kneel. Lower the knee, untuck the toes. Inhale, arms lift. Now this time we'll tuck those back toes and immediately lift the knee as you shift to a side lunge. So bending into right knee and hip. Turn back to the front of the mat, right knee lowers. Inhale, arms lift. Lift and shift, side lunge, bending into right knee and hip. Walk yourself back to the front, left knee, left half kneel, and extend. Last time we side lunge right, and let's take a few moments just organically side lunging. You can kind of sway through the rib cage here as you move side to side. And then we're gonna make this a bit of a series. Bend into the left knee and hip. We'll press off that leg, rise to stand, and then the left leg lifts out to the left, familiar. Cross the left leg behind, curtsy squat. Step the left leg wide and side lunge. Press off of it here. Left leg extends, curtsy squat. Left leg steps wide and we side lunge. Press and extend. Left leg abducts left. Cross it behind the right for your curtsy. One more time, step it wide. Left lunge, side lunge. Press off the foot, abduction. Cross it behind, we'll take it to that seated twist. Turn to face the back of the mat. Let's pause for a second in the seated twist. Maybe roll the shoulders. And from here, we'll unwind to the opposite side of the mat. So just uncross those legs. For your table lifts, pressing into the feet, lifting the pelvis up and lowering. So you can do the same variation we did the first time. Next option is as you start to lower the pelvis, you stay lifted and kick the pelvis through the hands. Big test of core here. If it's not fun for you, don't do it. It's not something that makes anybody morally better. It's just a thing. Whichever variation, we'll do one more. And then turn towards the back of the mat, step the right foot, and we'll unwind for down dog facing the front. Left leg steps forward, right leg steps forward, and step it back. You can keep doing this version. Another option is from your down dog, press into the feet and spring them forward at the same time, and then spring them back. So it's a little bit more of like a kind of jumpy feeling. So just pick which one feels fun for you. One more round here. Next time you step the right foot forward, step into your standing L. This could also be that bent knee pyramid. Lower the left toes, we'll shift the hips back, runner stretch. Shift it forward, standing L. Lower those toes, runner stretch. So moving back and forth between these two poses that we've done before. Third option is to plant the hands. You can push off the bottom foot. Oops, I caught it. And try for a bit of an arm balance. Sometimes you surprise yourself by being right on your arms. So shifting forward, adding those hops only if it's fun for you or something you're exploring. Press into that right foot. This next time you can rise to an airplane. No arms if you'd like, or you can do the same left arm on the right thigh as we did before. From here, we'll open up just for a half moon, opening the pelvis, and then you can bring the right fingers to the floor or hover them above the floor. Maybe that left arm lifts up to the ceiling. We're in a half moon after all this prep. Left foot lowers, warrior two, arms extend, inhale, reverse, and warrior variation. Nice and fluid here. reverse, warrior variation. One more time, reverse, warrior variation. We'll head to down dog or dolphin, turn to the front of the mat. You can step the right foot back or lower the forearms as you go. Option to lift the right leg, bend the knee, and maybe circle the hip here. Trying to get that pelvis to stack over the rib cage and circle the other direction if you haven't already. We'll lower that right foot, press into the palms from dolphin and extend the elbows, down dog. Oh, we'll lower the knees for your child's pose. Sit the hips back just for a moment. Big inhale here. Exhale through the mouth, let it go. And then shift the weight forward for the other side. Walk those feet forward. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. Left foot steps back, half kneel. Untuck the toes, inhale, arms lift. And tuck those toes, turn to the left, side lunge to the left. Walk yourself back to the front of the mat, lower the left knee, inhale, lift up. Tuck the toes, turn to your left, side lunge. Walk it back to the front, half kneel. Inhale, extend. Side lunge to the left. This time we'll take it side to side in a pace that feels good to you. We're at kind of an amped up song here. But if you want to defy that, please do. Next time we bend right leg, we'll pause, push off of it, lift to stand, abducting the right leg, and cross it behind, curtsy squat. Step the legs wide once again, side lunge right. Push off that right leg, try to catch it on the left, right leg abducts and curtsy. So it's kind of like you push off that leg and then it's like a space hold kind of with it in abduction. Cross it behind. Just one more. Wow, matches the song. Right leg lifts. Head to your seated twist. Right knee crossing behind, facing the back of the mat. Roll it out here. Getting some relief. And then continue unwinding to the opposite side of the mat. For our table lifts, pressing into those feet, lifting the pelvis, with the added option of swinging that pelvis through the hands, keeping the butt lifted off the floor. One more. Turn to the back of the mat. We'll plant the left foot and keep unwinding for your down dog. Step the right foot forward, left foot forward, right back, left back. You know the drill here, alternating walks. Way more accessible at this point in class. Option to make this a double foot hop forward and back. Only if it's fun. If it's not fun, don't do it. Next time that left foot steps forward, weight into it, shift forward, standing L. Can also be that bent knee pyramid. Right toes lower, shift the hips back, runner stretch. Shift it forward, standing L or pyramid. Toes lower, runner stretch. Shift it forward. Now remember, you can add pressing the hands into the floor, weighting off the foot for a little bit of a handstand hop. Whoa. Only if it's fun. Here we go, heading to airplane. Weight in that standing L and then lift the arms. I know that leg's tired. Use your core to pull out of the hip there. And then we'll open up for our half moon. That pelvis opens to the right. Left fingers can lower under the shoulder to a block, can hover on the floor. Little bit of buoyancy in the left knee. Warrior two, right leg lowers, sweet relief. Inhale, reverse it. And warrior variation, left forearm to thigh, reverse. Oh, this feels nice on the sides. Warrior variation, reverse. This time, windmill to the front of the mat, down dog or dolphin. If you had to dolphin, just lower those forearms. The left leg can lift up, both options. Bend that left knee, you can add some hip circles. And then maybe head in the other direction. We'll lower the left foot. If you're in dolphin, we'll extend the elbows, really press into the palms there. Woof, lift yourself up. And then we'll all lower the knees for a sweet cat-cow. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, push the mat away, round the back there. Inhale, open. Exhale, push that back up. And then make this some organic, ooey gooey, just bend in ways that feel good. Kind of like you're hunting for the gooey, like the stuck parts. Moving side to side of the pelvis is an option, whatever. And then if you'd like, I'll cue into a pigeon, which is that hip opener. If you hate pigeon, you can head to your back for a figure four or any other pose that you feel like doing. For pigeon, we'll cross the left ankle in front of the right thigh here, propping the left toes and letting the left knee fall to the floor. Keeping the right leg aligned with the hip joint here, we'll just shift it straight back, and you can untuck the left toes as you go. That entry really helps keep the pelvis neutral. If you want a little support under the left hip, you can bring a block under there, or a pillow, a blanket. And then descend, if you can, with a long spine. So still not trying to get into that rounded kind of turtle-like place, but more of a, I don't know, slinky swan kind of action. Exhale. If you're in figure four, that left ankle is crossed over the right thigh. And you can draw the right thigh towards you. Both variations will start to shift out of it. So if you're in figure four, lower the right foot and switch legs. From our pigeon, we have to do a little bit of a shift forward using that right toe and return to your quadruped. We'll cross the left ankle. No, we just did that. We'll cross the right ankle over the left thigh. I'm getting all discombobulated with the stretch. Right toes are propped if you're in this pigeon, and the right knee is on the floor. If you're in figure four, you can cross right ankle over left thigh and draw the thigh towards you. Everybody check in with your chin. If it's jutting out of line here, just try to draw it towards the throat. Oh, and exhale, envision the fibers of that hip area. Oh, just releasing and kind of pulling apart, like the seeds in a milkweed pod. You can just pull those silky bits apart from each other. We want to imagine a stretch being as gentle and diaphanous and beautiful as those seeds. Whatever variation you're doing here will come out of it. So from figure four, lower that foot. If you're in pigeon, walk your way back up. And then we'll head to a Shavasana. So any position that enables you to release the effort, the tension, is a valid Shavasana position here. And really relish in the opportunity to take time for yourself and to slow down. Maybe when you get to your position, you can release the breath in a way that helps the muscles release. If you'd like to stay in your Shavasana longer today, just mute your computer, mute the video. If you are ready to move, maybe bring one hand somewhere on your body. And if it feels okay, the other hand somewhere else. Feeling as you breathe, these spaces expand and kind of change on a molecular level. There's gas exchange happening, and that means things are changing all the time. And we are here to ride the wave, to find our pockets of comfort, and to dial in as much as we can. You can reach the arms overhead if that works for the position you're in, or otherwise stretch the limbs here. Inhaling and bringing space into the body. And then exhale. Maybe slowly making your way to a position that feels like a place where you can take stock for a moment before we go about our evenings. Let's wrap the arms around ourselves, giving a bit of a hug, squeezing tight like a weighted blanket, and then let go of that squeeze. Bring the palms together at heart center. Take a moment to thank yourself for carving out the time for you and for movement. It's no easy feat these days. And I'm honored that you chose to join the hour with me. So thank you so much for your practice. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Happy weekend, everybody. Woo! I'll stick around if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I'm back at it next week. Keep taking care of yourselves as it's a busy time of year. I will see you soon. Thank you all.